Hi, I'm Charles Miller. I'm here today with Greg Huskin, interviewing him for a project in my careers in film and video class. How are you doing today, Greg?
Doing great, man. How's it going?
Good, good. I just had a few questions I wanted to ask you about your involvement and how you got into producing and making these videos that you produce. First of all, I guess, how'd you get started as a video producer?
My brother-in-law used to own a video editing place where they did like infomercials and things like that, and I helped him a lot, and then I got interested in it probably about 15, 20 years ago. I even did a little infomercial myself. It was for something called, what they did is you put it in the truck and it rolled, and you put a tarp out and it rolls, as the tarp rolls up, it dump loads something off. You know, and that was my first connection with it, really, other than just watching TV and having interest in it all along. But then I went to work for Tampa Bay Community Network. Somebody was interested in doing a show down there, and I told them I'd help them any way I could. And I went down there, and I started taking the classes down there and gained more and more interest in it. I've been a mechanic all my life, and I'm just tired of working with the environment, the sun and the cold, and I wanted to get into something where I can have a more controlled environment in my upper age and learn something else to do to get out of the environment, period, where I can have a controlled environment.
Perfect, perfect. That pretty much you almost answered my second question, is how did you transition into being a video producer, which is definitely obvious.
Well, I haven't quite yet completely transferred.
Yeah.
We're working into it little by little. It's looking up, let's put it that way, you know, but I still do salvaging cars as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely. All right. What would you say is a typical project for you or your company?
Well, anything you can make a living at. It's hard to make a living at it anymore, just going in like this. Music videos, commercials, weddings, just anything where anybody needs videography work or editing done and stuff like that, yeah.
All right, all right. What would you consider the main stages of a video project from beginning to end, in a sense?
Well, you have pre-production, which is like pre-production meetings and setting up a storyboard and getting ready to do something, to whereas like what lighting you're going to need, what audio you're going to need, what kind of cameras you're going to need. And then through that stage you're thinking about what's going to happen in post-production, which is after the shoot. So you set up for it and you make yourself a storyboard, you plan how many people it's going to take to do it, what kind of lighting it's going to take to do it, what kind of audio it is. And audio is really important in video. People don't understand that, but it is. You got to get that audio right, and you got to capture it right. And it's not just going out with a camera and getting the video. You have to get the audio just as well, because it's just as important. People have two eyes, two ears, and that makes up the whole program. It's not just the video. But that's basically, and then you go into the actual video shoot, whereas you go out and you take your manpower out there, you set the cameras up, you set the lighting up, use a light meter, get your light meter right, use the right machinery to get your decimals proper on the more you do in production, the less you have to do in post-production, and that's editing and After Effects and things like that. But yeah, and then after you have post-production, and post-production is basically dropping it down in the computer, putting it in the software you're going to use to edit it. And here we use Adobe, and we use Speed Edit, and we use Final Cut Pro. They're all, to me, CS5 Adobe is the best. It's more world known. It's used basically all over the world, whereas Final Cut's used a lot here in the United States. Speed Edit's real good as well for composing everything together real fast and getting it ready to go to Adobe. But then you have meetings with the customers to make sure you're giving them what they want. That's real important, to have the customer over for an hour or two in the editing process to make sure that you're getting what they want done. And then we just edit it out and put the right font with it, and get the colors right, and just edit it all together. Yeah, that's basically how it happens.
Yeah, that's very interesting. All right. Next, I guess I would say, what do you enjoy most about being a video producer? What's the best aspects of it?
Well, I've always enjoyed being the boss.
Yeah, it's always fun.
I've always worked for myself, and I've always enjoyed being the boss. And of course, I would say that's the part I enjoy most about it. You know, and I do enjoy creating. You know what I'm saying? Putting something together. You know, once you learn everything, you learn the lighting and you learn the cameras and how to run the cameras and you learn how to use the software, and you're actually creating something that really, if you do it right, it's going to come out fantastic, and you're really proud of it. Anything that you can create that you're proud of, of course, that's a good feeling.
Yeah, definitely. The finished project is always.
Exactly.
It's sometimes even worth more than the money in a situation.
Not always.
Not always. Sometimes.
Baby needs new shoes.
Yeah, definitely.
No.
Next, I would say, what advice do you have for aspiring video producers or filmmakers and so forth?
I hope you got an interest in it.
All right. Well, anything that I might have missed that you feel is important, or any other closing thoughts you might add?
No. No, I think you've covered everything pretty well. I think we've covered everything right down the line, yeah.
All right. Well, I just want to tell you a little bit about how we're shooting today. Today we're actually in front of a green screen. I'll actually show you flashes back and forth of what we're actually showing. And the equipment used to put all this together, basically the brain or the heart of it all is the TriCaster XD300. Can you tell me a little bit about that piece of equipment? Well,
I started off using a TriCaster down at the local community station. I come in one day and they had it there, and they put me in front of it for a 2-hour little training course, and it was where the guy come in, he said a few things, and then I watched a video on it, and then I went out there and I used it. I was used to using regular switchers, analog equipment, and so within an hour I was switching with it. It's all done in a computer. Before you walked in the technical directing room and you had all this equipment everywhere. With the TriCaster, you have one computer in front of you, everything's right there in that monitor, and it's all done with the keyboard and the mouse. Now in our case we have a switcher, but at that time they had one for that, but they didn't have one down there. But you walk in there and you've got all it is a keyboard, mouse, something you're acquainted with using anyway, a monitor in front of you, and all that equipment that was around me was right inside this monitor.
The cameras you have are all HD capable, and they are the Sony HDR FX1. Is that correct?
Yes.
And tell me a little bit about the cameers.
Well, they shoot in HD. HDV format. They shoot in 1080i, 1440 by 1080. Yeah.
Another thing you said that's very important is sound. You're very adamant about that, as you expressed. What sound equipment exactly are we using? You said these are Samsung lavalier microphones.
Lavaliers, right? That's what we're using right now. Yeah, but we use a Tascam 680.
Cool. Well, that's about it. And thank you very much for the interview.
Not a problem, kid. Yeah, good luck to you.
Yeah, definitely. I enjoy being able to spend time in your studio here. I appreciate it very much.
Yeah.